What's going on, you guys? This is Clayster making you a YouTube video. This one is a vlog, obviously, as you can tell, since you see me here with the map behind me. I'm usually in this room when I'm doing my vlogs, just because it's the quietest room we have, and there's a door I can shut that it's kind of distanced away from everybody. So, in this one, I'm basically going to talk about MLG Anaheim a little bit. As you guys may know, we just got back from there. I got back last night at about midnight-ish or something. So we got back, and it was a pretty disappointing Sunday for us. I know for a lot of you guys, you might not know, or you may know, we got second place, which is pretty awesome. But for us, that's just the first loser. We want first place. We're shooting for first every time, so anything less is kind of a disappointment. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh well, second place is still good, but at least in our eyes, I'm not sure about the rest of the squad, but I'm speaking for myself. I'm a little disappointed in it. I knew we had the capability and the ability to execute. Just didn't exactly have the best maps, the best tournament when it came down to it. So I'm going to just go ahead and walk you through, the tournament for all you guys who wanted to know my feelings, my, impressions on the tournament. So MLG Anaheim's always a lot of fun. It's always the biggest MLG tournament. There's always the most people there. And we flew in on Thursday, got to hang out a little bit, meet up with everybody, just, kick it, get some good food, all that good stuff. Friday rolls around, we only had to play one match, and we only had to play one match on Friday because we had that bye. And we played it at around 9 o'clock at night or so. So we played Denial around 9 o'clock. They beat Curse Black, I'm pretty sure. We played Denial. We ended up 3-0ing them relatively easy. The S&D was kind of close, but other than that, we kind of, just gave it to him. I was pretty happy about that, especially with the way Denial was talking to us after our league loss to him. You guys might not have seen it because it wasn't in public, but we have a Skype chat of all the teams in Season 2 of League, and Zuma was kind of running his mouth a little bit, so it's kind of fun to beat him, especially with a convincing 3-0. We moved on there, and we had a really tough matchup against Envy. And a lot of you guys may know that Envy has kind of been had our number a little bit at regionals at COD Champs, but that's when they had Rambo. Now that they've switched it up, we beat them at X Games, and we played them here at Anaheim, and we beat them pretty handily too. I don't know if they just don't have the vocal leadership, if they have the mental skill that Rambo brought to the team, or what's up with them. Maybe we just had a great series, but we 3-0'd them as well, so I was pretty happy about that to get into the winners finals top 3. It's not bad, but like I said, we were shooting for first, so we played EG in the next match. And it was freight, freight dom, freight S&D, freight blitz. We lose the freight dom by 3 points, something like that. It was a really close game that we could have tied it if we would have just played for the tie, but we were playing for the win. They happened to get to the B flag faster than we could get to their A flag. I had a little misstep at the end of that domination where I was trying to stay alive, and I got caught up on a little barrier thing on the red train. I ended up dying, and they got full control of B. When I had my stun and my nade, I was planning on throwing a stun and then a nade to hold them back a little bit, but I got blocked a little bit by the wood pallets. But we ended up losing that, and then we lost the freight search pretty bad. It's just a different style we were seeing out of EG that we weren't really sure how to counter. We've never really played against a style like that, so we're definitely going to have to practice pretty hard to see what we can do, to counter that, old COD 4 style of S&D of, waiting till the clock's about to run out and then nading, stunning, where the exact spots that you're going to go to so you can get control of it, putting bomb down, and then playing setups rather than playing, rushing. Props to them for coming out with but reinvigorating an old S&D strategy and making it work for them. Then we moved on to the freight blitz, and we just didn't really have any momentum. We didn't have any energy. Went down early to start, and then just couldn't climb out of the hole. They're a really great freight blitz team. We knew that, but they vetoed Warhawk against us, and they're really good at Octane Blitz, so we didn't feel like playing that against them either. Took them on the freight blitz, and then ended up losing that 3-0. Pretty upsetting to lose 3-0 to EG, especially because I know we're capable of beating them, and I know that I feel like our teams match up well against each other. You take the players, TP and Nade Shot, great matchup right there. You take Scump, and I would probably give it to Crim, Scump and Crim, or Scump and Aches, and then either Proof and Aches or Proof and Crim. I'm not even sure, but just the player matchup is really well. And then me versus Karma, obviously. we match up really well against each other, and I feel like our games are always going to be dependent on the maps that we play, and that one lucky Call of Duty timing. Like I said, we lost to Freight Dom by 3 points. You can't really be upset at that. Moving on to the next round, we played TCM. They were coming hot off a losers bracket run. I think they got knocked out in the first round of the winners, made it all the way back to the losers finals. So props to them. Their first EU team, I think that's broken top 8 at an MLG event. So not only did they break it, but they got top 3, which is awesome. We weren't really sure what to expect. We played Epsilon at COD Champs, so we knew like the AR heavy play style that Europeans like to use. But we ended up getting Strike Zone Dom, which we played really well against them. They weren't really sure how to counter our aggressive pushes. Moved on to Octane Search, where everybody clutched up. I think we ended up going down 4-5 and then ended up winning 2 straight. So that was pretty awesome, to show some resilience, especially after losing 0-3 to EG, to come out and win the first 2, and then not only that, but take the third map as well. I think it was Freight Blitz 2. We beat them on it and 3-0'd them too, so we 3-0'd every other team we played other than EG. So, that kind of says something. And then we moved on to play EG in the grand finals, but we came from the losers, so we had to win 2 best of 5s. They only had to win 1. We played them on Freight Dom again, ended up beating them on it with a nice comeback. I think we were down like 30 or something at one point, ended up coming back. Then we played them on S&D, went up 5-1 in Sovereign S&D, and I think we all got a little lax, thinking we were going to go up 2-0. Stopped really calling out strategies, started just pushing, allowing them to come back, take round after round after round. They ended up clutching back up, won at 6-5. But then we moved on to, we played Octane Blitz next because we thought we just lost so bad on Freight Blitz. We're not playing Octane Blitz again, or Freight Blitz again. We'll play Octane. So we played them on Octane and actually win it pretty convincingly. It never really got out of our hands. I played decently well, watching Overextend, Matt and Scump and Preef played really well getting captures. Moved on to the 4th map, which was Sovereign Dom, which we hadn't played all tournament. We didn't even play it once at X Games. It's one of our weaker maps, but we know it's one of their weaker maps too. So we played them on it and ended up doing really well. I played a really great game that game. A lot of clutch 2 and 3 pieces to really solidify that 3-1 victory in the first best of 5. So we were pretty pumped about that. Moving on into the next best of 5, we played Strike Zone Dom, which we lost by about 10 points. And if anybody noticed, we switched up our breakout and we ended up losing, or we started off losing 0-10 before we got a flag, and we ended up losing by 10 points at the end. So that breakout literally lost us the game because we were trying something new. We didn't want to do our usual breakout. There was just a couple clutch gunfights that could have changed that game. No big deal. And then we went on to the second map, which is Freight S&D again. We didn't have the ability to veto the Freight S&D. They said we weren't allowed to play any of the maps that we had played in the previous series, which was Sovereign S&D and I think the last map in the final series was Sovereign S&D, and like the last map in the second in the grand finals, first best of 5, we weren't allowed to play any of those maps again. So I think we only had the option to veto like one Dom or one Blitz or something like that. I can't remember how it worked. And end up playing them on Freight S&D again, which we didn't know how to counter. I had a pretty abysmal performance on that map. I don't really have a job on that map, and I'm going to try and get that fixed by the end of, or by the time G3 rolls around. I feel kind of worthless on Freight S&D. They told me to stop going for my pre-snipes, stuff like that, so I stopped, and then I really don't know what my goal is. I'm kind of just sitting around looking at a really obscure spot that no one goes to or no one should go to because, they'll get picked. And, I just don't really have a role on the map. Hopefully we can get that fixed. Then we lost that too pretty convincingly. Went down 0-2. And then, we fought back in the next Freight Blitz. We played a really good game on Freight Blitz, which is one of our weaker maps too. We didn't play Warhawk once the whole tournament because everybody knew we were pretty good at it at X Games, and which is awesome that people are scared to play us on some maps now, and which is the goal because then you can kind of play with the vetoes around that. We played a really good Freight Blitz game, so I'm pretty happy that we beat them on that. Showed some resilience, going down 0-2 in the grand finals, beating them on that, and then forced a game 4. End up, outplaying EG for 9 minutes on Octane Dom. Got one unlucky timing, got one unlucky spawn, got 3 capped, and then didn't work out of it as a team. End up choking a 32-point lead with a minute and a half to go on Octane. And it sucked a lot. It sucked really, really bad. we're really good at Octane Search, and every time we've played EG on Octane Search, we kind of mop them, like 6-1, 6-0. Our league record against them is really good, and our track record in them against it is really good. So I really wanted to play it. I really wanted to go to that Game 5. I could pull back that 0-2 comeback and, see what happened. We'd had momentum, all that stuff. But as always, EG clutched up and, sent us packing with the second place finish. Like I said, kind of disappointed with it, but it goes to show that, we're competitors. We have resilience in us. We're never going to give up. We're always going to fight our hardest and play to the end, to the last second. And, that's good to see in the team. Before, if we went down 0-2 in the finals, I'm not sure that, all of us would have it in us to keep our heads up, keep playing, play to the end. But now, after winning that Freight Blitz and playing so well in that Octane Dom, just fell a little bit short. I'm really excited for the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching LMG Anaheim, watching us compete. Like I said, we didn't lose a map to anybody but EG, who we did take a series off of. I think with our roster now versus their roster, the series count is 2-2. We beat them at X Games. They beat us 2 at Anaheim. We beat them once at Anaheim. And then if you count Niagara, which was on the 360, I guess it's 3-2. Three series of them, 2 to us. So, evenly matched. It's not just like a TK thing where they can, beat them once and then just fall short after that, or not even beat them once but get close to beating them. I know when I was on Complexity, we played TK in the finals of about 3 or 4 tournaments, and they got really close to beating us every time but just couldn't get past the threshold. So I'm glad to know that we can, beat them in a series, go toe-to-toe, hang with them. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. It sounded a little somber, but it's all good. I'll get over it. And I hope you guys continue supporting me and my squad. Much love. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.